UFC Vegas 42, Holloway versus Rodriguez. These are the full card predictions and the betting breakdown. Looking forward to talking about this one. Smash that like button, guys. We need at least 200 likes on this full card breakdown. If you're new to the channel, subscribe, turn those post notifications on. Keep it locked in here at MMA Experts, covering all things MMA. And we got some great predictions this week. Really looking forward to this main event. Decent card overall, so let's get into it. The first fight of the night. Nzechukwu versus Jung. This is an interesting light heavyweight matchup and a competitive one. Obviously, the odds are close here. I'm going with Nzechukwu in this matchup to pull off the upset. Stylistically, I do think Jung, a bit more technical and polished with his boxing, does have a decent wrestling game, especially from the clinch position. You look at that fight against William Knight. Consistent takedowns and trips from the clinch. He's tall and flat-footed, but on the opposite side, Nzechukwu, the taller man of the two by an inch, has longer reach, 83 to 78.5, and he is a power puncher who fights out of the southpaw stance. He's a little bit awkward, and you know what? One thing that I like here is X factor with Nzechukwu. He is known to come back from adversity and win fights. You look at the last two fights that he was losing. Carlos Ulberg, technical, precise kickboxer, and he knocks him out. Grappling specialist Danilo Marquez, and he knocks him out. Granted, a little bit of a weird stoppage standing up, but Marquez was finished there. Jung, pretty poised and patient on the stand-up game, does have a really nice jab. I feel like Nzechukwu will find a way to land the power shots. It's going to be a difficult fight and not an easy one to win here. I'm predicting third round knockout for Nzechukwu over Jung. Should be a competitive first two, even potentially Jung leading the dance in the first two. Nzechukwu, though, will have his moments landing big power strikes, and I do think he knocks Jung out in that third round. He's a solid underdog, odds sitting around plus 123 to minus 130. I like that plus 120 dog. Nzechukwu for the win over Jung, which is a light heavyweight matchup to start the night that I can't wait to see. I'm expecting fireworks here. Next one. Marc Diakiese versus Rafael Alves. I like Marc Diakiese's chances here. He's let us down a lot in the past, a little bit inconsistent. Did have a 2-fight win streak snapped in the last one, but look at the opponent. Rafael Fiziev. Not a guy to be disappointed losing to. The man's an animal. Alves on the opposite side lost to Damir Ismagulov. He had moments early there, but he was outmatched with the grappling. I expect more striking here from both guys. With Diakiese, the game that he has, very skilled with his kickboxing. He's talented in the stand-up game. He fights really well from range. Now, weakness, takedown defense. Luckily, he doesn't have an animal of a wrestler on the opposite side. Alves, decent grappling game and submissions, okay wrestling. He's more of a striker, though. Thai style, lots of power in his hands, likes the hooks, especially likes getting in close. Granted, he's at a disadvantage. Diakiese, taller by 2 inches, longer by 5 inches. This should be a fight that he's able to get his kickboxing going from range. I do expect it to be fairly competitive in moments, but Diakiese just doing a bit more, landing the better strikes. I'm expecting decision here, going all three. Marc Diakiese, win by decision. He is the favorite here. Odds ranging around best value minus 138 for Diakiese. Alves at plus 143. I like Marc Diakiese for the win, and I do like him to get it done by a decision here over Rafael Alves. He should get that momentum going once again, and it's a fight that I'm excited to see. The next one, Cortney Casey, Liana, Jojua. I like Cortney Casey's chances here. She's a big favorite, and that's kind of for a reason. Jojua hasn't shown elite level skills, to say the least. I mean, she's a decent Thai style of striker, a little bit flat-footed and definitely slower than Cortney Casey. I like the speed edge Casey's going to have. She's a pretty skilled kickboxer, nice low kicks, decent combination punches, and honestly, she enters the pocket quickly. I see her landing a significant more amount of strikes than Jojua here. I do expect this fight to go the full three. I like Cortney Casey's chances to win by a decision. I don't think Jojua will have the stand-up game for Cortney. I don't think she threatens with the grappling here. The defense should be there. And you look, I mean, Courtney Casey has fought some high-level girls. Look at the last one. It was a loss to J.J. Aldrich, close split decision. Before that, Jillian Robertson, she did get choked out. Win over Mara Barella. So the last three haven't been extremely high level, but you see Cynthia Calvillo. You see the win by split decision over Angela Hill, which is huge. Jojua in the last one lost to Miranda Maverick. Not really a terrible loss. Maverick's a damn good prospect, and she got robbed a bit in her most recent fight. But Courtney Casey should get the W in this matchup by a decision. I see her outpointing Jojua over the 3 rounds. Now, odds, they're going to be ranging depending, where you're betting at. Minus 200 at best value for Casey, plus 180 for Jojua. I like Casey's chances. I think she wins by a decision in this flyweight women's matchup. This is a good one. Sean Woodson, Collin Anglin. Woodson, I do think gets it done, but he came in with way more hype than was really deserved. And I feel like in this matchup, he's being overly priced by the bookies. Obviously, the hype is on him here. Slick boxing, fights well out of both stances, is very rangy. He's going to have an 8-inch reach advantage alongside of a solid height advantage as well. You're looking at 5 inches of height on Collin Anglin. Now, Anglin does have some things to like. He's pretty strong in the clinch. I do believe that's kind of his best attribute, would be to clinch up and try to wrestle here. But do I think he gets a hold of Sean Woodson? Potentially. But the thing is, that height difference is going to give him such a leverage advantage. I like Woodson. I do think he's going to be picking apart Collin Anglin from range. He is a pretty tricky boxer. Honestly, really good boxing skill set. He's rangy as hell. Anglin, with just straight stand-up, a bit wild, a little bit over-aggressive even at times, but it's still a decent style. I mean, he's got an 8-2 record. He's not a bad fighter. Lost to Melsik Begzadian is a forgivable one. This is definitely a drop-down test against Sean Woodson, but still, I think Woodson leads the dance here. I do think Sean Woodson does get it done. I think he'll land the big punches, and I feel like this could be his breakout performance in the UFC to start pushing that momentum a bit. I think he can knock out Collin Anglin in the second round. I like Woodson KO here. Overpriced though, minus 260, plus 236. I would rather see it, more like minus 200 value. Would make it a lot more juicy of a bet, but I still think Sean Woodson beats Collin Anglin here, in what should be a pretty fun featherweight fight. Good fight in this next one. Damn good one. Miguel Baeza versus Khaos Williams. I like Baeza. He is such a polished striker, extremely technical, 11 pro bouts, so not supreme amounts of experience, but he gave hell to Ponzinibbio in the last one. Even though he lost, to me, it's a forgivable one. I mean, they went the full distance. He had moments. On the opposite side, Khaos Williams lost to Michelle Pereira, but a win over Selmesberger in the last one. And Selmesberger is actually proven to be a sneaky, powerful striker. He's knocking everybody out. Khaos Williams is a big puncher. He's aggressive as hell. Good forward pressure he'll put on his opponents. Miguel Baeza, though, I really see picking him apart from range. Now, he's at a disadvantage with the reach, but he's got a height advantage, so I do think the kicks will come into play. Expect lots of low kicks by Baeza here. He needs to definitely avoid getting caught clean by Khaos Williams because Khaos is heavy-handed, but I feel like the level difference is clear here. Miguel Baeza win by a decision and should be a fairly dominant striking display. If you like striking, this is the striker's delight fight. I'm really looking forward to seeing these guys mix it up. Now, the odds for this one, Baeza best value minus 137, Khaos Williams plus 128. Not a bad bet for Baeza there. I do think he gets it done, and I really feel like he's a hot prospect. Even with the loss in the last one, I'm excited for his future. Khaos Williams is a fun prospect, but I see a lower ceiling for him. Miguel Baeza win by a decision in what should be a damn good performance and a fight to look forward to. Next one is women's action. Flyweight division bout. Might not be the most entertaining fight on the card. It's Cynthia Calvillo, Andrea, KGB Lee. It's a really competitive one on the lines. It's pick'ems. And honestly, I see why. For me, it was a difficult one to pick, but I have to lean Lee by just a smidge. Reason being, the better stand-up game. She's got a more versatile striking attack. Golden Gloves boxed her 2 times. Does have decent combinations, solid low kicks. Calvillo wrestling advantage. Granted, she's going to be smaller here. She's at a disadvantage with height and reach. You look at that. I mean, 5.5-inch reach advantage for Lee. She should be able to fight well from range. You look at the last two for Calvillo, bad ones. And super recently, a month ago, she gets knocked out by Andrade. Before that, Caitlin Chukager beat her up. I feel like Andrea Lee can have her moments here and win the bout, but it's not one I want to go throw money on, really. It's not a fight that I'm going to be betting personally, but I feel like Andrea Lee, higher volume, defending takedown. She should be strong in clinch positions as well, and she should beat Cynthia Calvillo on the cards. Close decision, but a decision for Andrea Lee. The odds, as I said, near pick'ems. I mean, minus 107's best value for Lee. You can find Cynthia Calvillo at plus 100. This is an even money fight, and for good reason. It's a hard one to pick and a very competitive one, but I like Andrea KGB Lee win by decision, potentially a split decision in this matchup over Cynthia Calvillo. Next fight of the night, the featured prelim. One to get pumped for. Thiago Moisés versus Joel Alvarez. I like the underdog, Joel Alvarez here. And he's got a lot of X factors. I mean, you look at him, 6'3" to 5'9", 77-inch reach to 70.5. Thiago Moisés was on the right side of some decisions. Alexander Hernandez, Bobby Green. Those are fights he could have lost. He could be on a 3-fight losing streak had the decisions not gone his way in those matchups. Joel Alvarez is a submission specialist, but he also has a good striking game. Excellent kicks. He's rangy as hell. Brings a lot of power in those kicks too, and they'll start to hurt, which is going to probably make Moisés at least consider clinching up. So now if Moisés, who is a strong grappler in his own right, looks to clinch up, I think opportunities will open up for Alvarez. The length will be tricky for Moisés to deal with here. He's too big of a favorite. This could be a stretch. I could see Alvarez winning a decision, but I feel like Alvarez is going to submit him in the second round. I'm going to pick Alvarez win by submission. A problem with this fight, and something I'm nervous about, Alvarez struggles on the scales. He weighed in at 159.5 for that last matchup. It's not a good look. If he misses weight again, he's going up to 70, and I don't think he's going to do great at 170. I feel like he edges out Moisés. I think he'll catch him in some type of submission. I do think he's the better striker. He's the more athletic guy. Moisés, decent counter-punching, but with that range difference, he's going to have to look to close distance. I think he'll struggle here. Joel Alvarez for the upset. The odds are wide, super wide in this one. Let's see what they're sitting at. Let's see. Joel Alvarez plus 196 at best value. Moisés minus 215. I like Joel Alvarez's chances here. He's a really big underdog, but he's a good fighter. And interestingly enough, both these guys have losses to Damir Ismagulov. And then in the last one, a finish loss against Islam Makhachev for Thiago Moisés. A forgivable one. Now, granted, competition level has been down substantially for Joel. Yakovlev, who's not extreme level, he's okay. Win over Joe Duffy, who's retired now. Danilo Bellardo, not great level. But Alvarez still brings a threat to this game. Even not fighting as high a level guys, the style matchup is good for him here. Joel Alvarez is an underdog to play here. I think it is worth the bet, especially at that good plus 200 money. And I think he's going to beat Thiago Moisés in an upset. Good fight. Joel Alvarez for the win. He beats Thiago Moisés here, and I am going to pick by submission. Now, let's get to the main card. And if you guys have not yet, smash the hell out of that like button. If you're new to the channel, make sure to subscribe. You do not want to miss a prediction video. Got tons of content coming out all week long, so keep it locked in. And let's talk about this first fight on the main card. Song Yadong versus Julio Arce. I like the underdog Arce here. This guy has fought good competition up a weight class at 145 and done well. Split decision loss to Hakeem Dawodu recently? That ain't a bad loss. That's actually impressive to go and lose a split decision. Now, Song, big win in the last one. Split decision over Casey Kenny. Does have a recent loss to Kyler Phillips. Song Yadong is a power striker. He closes distance really well. He lands massive hooks. If he touches your chin, he's going to hurt you bad. But Arce doesn't have durability issues, and he's so technically sound. And he's poised and patient in the stand-up game. Trains out of Tiger Schulman's gym. There's a lot of good strikers training out of that gym there. One thing with Arce that I think is a good X factor is being out of the southpaw stance. I feel like his kickboxing skill set technically is definitely superior to Song Yadong's. Though Song has a explosiveness edge, precision goes to Arce. Beautiful 1-2s down the line. It's really crisp boxing skills. I feel like those will be on display here. Expect jabs. Now, the height, little bit advantageous towards Song. He's 1 inch taller, but a 3-inch reach advantage for Julio Arce. And do expect him to try to slow Song Yadong down with some nice low kicks. I expect those to land. Julio Arce, the underdog, I do think he wins it by a decision against Song Yadong. Betting-wise, the best value that you can get on Arce, plus 136, Song, minus 149. I'm liking the underdog. I think Arce is going to get it done. He's maybe getting slept on by the lines a bit here. He had a very impressive fight against Andrea in the last one. I expect him to keep on that impressive roll, and I feel like Arce could break into the bantamweight rankings, and I think a win over Song Yadong is going to start that trend. Yadong, a good prospect too, but right now, 23, I got to go with the 32-year-old Arce. More high-level experience. He's shown to have a really tricky stand-up game, and he's going to win it here. Julio Arce win by a decision over Song Yadong. Good underdog. Great underdog. The next one, Roman Dolidze, Kyle Daukaus. I like Kyle Daukaus here. You look at the last fight for Daukaus, it was just unfortunate. I mean, he was able to choke out Kevin Holland, but it was after a headbutt, so it gets scored a no contest. Had a loss to Phil Hawes before then, which forgivable. Hawes is a tricky matchup. You know, I mean, obviously he got knocked out in the fight recently, but that was a crazy big fluke upset. Dolidze coming off a win over Laureano Starpoli, where he didn't look great. You know, Dolidze's style is going to be chain wrestling and heavy grappling. Kyle Daukaus has excellent Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, great takedown defense, little bit taller here. The height is 1 inch advantageous for Daukaus. Reach, the same, but Daukaus is the better striker. His brother Chris Daukaus is making waves in the heavyweight division, turning out to be a real contender. You know that stand-up game is still solid with Kyle as well. I think he's a bit underrated in the stand-up. Though we didn't have a ton of time seeing that fight with Kevin Holland, what we did see is don't sleep on Daukaus' hands because he was able to land some decent punches. He's rangy with his kickboxing. The wrestling's going to be strong. And another factor here too, Daukaus out of that southpaw stance. I feel like that's advantageous here against Dolidze. I don't see Dolidze landing takedowns on Daukaus. I do see him clinching up and attempting. I see Daukaus fending him off. I don't necessarily see Daukaus out-wrestling Dolidze either. We might have a really grappling-heavy game that goes the distance. But when you have two high-level grapplers, a lot of the time, you end up getting a good striking match. And Daukaus is the better kickboxer. I expect him to land good punches, slowly break apart Dolidze. I like Kyle Daukaus for the win. I do think he gets it done by a decision in what should be an impressive one. Now, looking at the betting lines for this fight here, Daukaus is a strong favorite. And, you know, as expected, minus 200, plus 205. At best value, you get Daukaus minus 201. I think that's a decent bet. I like his chances of beating Dolidze here. I am going to pick by decision, and I am excited to see what Kyle Daukaus has here. And he keeps it going, bouncing back from that disappointing fight, which was not even a month ago, and he's back in action. He didn't take any damage there. Kyle Daukaus win by a decision over Roman Dolidze. Now, the next fight of the night, it is the featured bout of the night. Felicia Spencer versus Leah Letson. Okay, this is not a fight that I'm extremely excited for. I have to say, it's not a fight that gets me up and pumped, and it's not a fight I want to touch the lines. I think Felicia wins it. It's hard to pick against her. Letson hasn't fought in 2 years. She is a veteran of The Ultimate Fighter. And you know, her debut win, that was against Julia Stolarenko. It was a competitive fight. Both had moments. With Leah Letson, what do you get? Okay, stand-up game, does fight out of the southpaw stance. Solid straight punches. Those are maybe some of her best attributes. She's physically strong and she's good in the clinch. Also brings a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu purple belt in there. Felicia Spencer is not a great striker, and we kind of know that. She's kind of awkward standing up. Granted, kind of common with Taekwondo fighters. She has a background in Taekwondo, but her Jiu-Jitsu is where she shines. She is a very good grappler. The loss to Norma Dumont, everybody immediately wrote Felicia off. She's terrible, but I think Norma Dumont is just a lot better than people knew at that moment. And I feel like here, this is Felicia Spencer's fight. Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt, durable as hell. Decent wrestling skills. I see her getting control of Leah Letson, trying to work her to the ground. Letson might be able to last for a bit and mix it up, but I feel like Spencer finds a way to win. She finds a way to get this fight to the floor, and I do expect Felicia Spencer to win by submission in the second round. I like her chances here. I'm on team Felicia. Go, Felicia, go. We're with her, but betting-wise, I don't want to touch it. And I mean, the lines are hideous for this fight. Minus 280 at best value for Spencer. Letson plus 252. I don't think there's much upside to betting Letson. I don't feel like she gets it done. I feel like Felicia Spencer, clear-cut win, and I do think she'll submit her in the second round in a fight that I'm looking forward to. Felicia Spencer for the win as a strong favorite, but ugly bet and not really one I want to touch. She's let us down before. Not going to be betting her personally, but Felicia Spencer does get it done here. Now, the co-main event. A little bit underwhelming of a co-main event, unfortunately, but it's still a fun fight in the heavyweight division. Ben Rothwell, Marcos Rogerio de Lima. I like Ben Rothwell a lot here. He's got a height and reach advantage, 3 inches taller, 5 inches longer. Longtime veteran of the game, 40 years of age. I mean, Ben Rothwell is an awkward striker. His game just looks weird, but he's sneaky fast with the hands and does have real knockout power. He'll put good forward pressure on his opponents. Rogerio de Lima has a decent grappling game and also a Thai style of striking. He has really massive hooks, sometimes gets a bit too wild and aggressive. Granted, it worked well against Ben Sassoli. In the last one, he fought Maurice Green, was able to get on top and dominate that fight for 3 rounds. Ben Rothwell is a clear-cut step up in competition and a step up in just overall size. Rothwell is a big boy at 265. He's also nasty on the mat. If he gets on top, he's dangerous. He's a very tricky submission fighter. Now, I don't think Rothwell gets the finish here. I think we're looking at 3 hard-fought rounds with Ben Rothwell getting it done by decision. I see him beating Marcos Rogerio de Lima by a decision. Odds-wise, looking at this fight, Rothwell minus 147, de Lima plus 135. I got to be honest, I'm pretty confident Ben Rothwell beats de Lima. He really should here. I think that it's high likelihood that he does. He's clearly the better striker of the two, even though awkward as shit. Grappling-wise, I think he'll be able to fend off any attacks by de Lima with takedowns. I think Rothwell could even get top position. I mean, the guy's got good submission wins. Back in the day, he choked out Josh Barnett, which, at the time that he did that, was a huge win. Ben Rothwell, I see him getting it done. I think he beats Marcos Rogerio de Lima by a unanimous decision. The main event of the evening. Smash that like button if you guys haven't yet, and subscribe. If you're new, turn those post notifications on too, and let's talk about it. Max Holloway, Yair Rodriguez. The pick is Max Holloway, and it's clear as day. But we can't, just absolutely sleep on Yair's game. I mean, Yair Rodriguez is a dynamic kickboxer. He's got a unique striking style, really kick-heavy attack, and kicks from all angles. Axe kicks, back kicks, spinning kick, all crazy different types of things. The kicking game is excellent. Nasty body kicks as well with extreme speed and precision. Now, the layoff for Yair I don't like. He hasn't been super active for years. You look, win over Jeremy Stevens. It was like a back-to-back fight. The first one was a no contest. Before that, he beat Jung. He was losing the whole fight, and then he comes back, lands that crazy spinning elbow. And then nearly 5 years ago, 4.5 years ago, Frankie Edgar stopped him with just a dominant grappling display. Unbeaten streak for Yair, so he's got some momentum going. On the opposite side, he fights Max Holloway, who's looked fantastic as of late, even in defeats. Losing to Volkanovski, as good as Volkanovski now is known to be, it's fair, and especially that last one. It could have gone either way, but the win against Calvin Kattar 9 months ago, he destroyed Calvin Kattar. Max Holloway is a phenomenal striker. He's got excellent, crispy boxing, great 1-2s. He controls range extraordinarily well. He has a really high volume. The guy's stamina is just go, go, go. He doesn't even spar, which blows my mind. Guys out there sparring 3 days a week. Max Holloway does not spar, and he's looked better than ever not sparring. Those straight punches will get working. Low kicks will get working. He'll slowly work down Yair Rodriguez. Yair will probably try some crazy things. I don't see him landing on Max Holloway. The chin of Max Holloway is iron. He takes huge shots. Now, Yair Rodriguez, the first 2 rounds, he's going to be really elusive. He's going to have moments for himself, but Max is going to slowly pick him apart. Yair's known to get tired in that 3rd round, especially if he's forced to fight at that Max Holloway pace. I see Max Holloway slowly picking apart Yair. TKO, round number 4 for Max Holloway, lock of the week, 100%. Max Holloway gets it done, and then he's probably in line to fight for the title once again against Volkanovski. You can't deny this man. And it's crazy. We're going to have a trilogy where, he's 0-2 against Volk, but the fights were so close. It's worth seeing it for a third time. I think Max Holloway wins. I think he does it by a TKO in the 4th round. Potential destruction. And Yair Rodriguez, he could be stopped in the corner at some point throughout this fight. You look at the beatdowns Max Holloway puts on his opponents. They're intense. You look at that last fight. He destroyed Cater. You look back in, a few years ago, destroyed Brian Ortega. I expect him to destroy Yair Rodriguez here, and the lines reflect that. Max Holloway, minus 500. Yair Rodriguez, plus 500. That's best value for both. It's Max Holloway all day. Of course, you're going to have to bet either a ton of money on him or you're going to have to parlay him, because if you're going money line, the value there isn't fantastic. But he is a lock. High likelihood of success. I see Max Holloway picking apart Yair Rodriguez here. I don't think Yair has it. He's got a flashy striking game and things to like. He's a good fighter, but there's difference between being a good fighter and a great fighter. Max Holloway, considered the greatest featherweight of all time. Obviously, the Volkanovski losses, and we'll see what happens with the trilogy. But Max Holloway is Hall of Fame status, and I see him getting the win and fighting for that title once again, beating down Yair Rodriguez. TKO, round number 4, Max Holloway for the victory. Overall, we got a decent card. You know what? I don't care if the undercard was absolute shite. It's really not. It's a decent undercard with some fun fights throughout, but that main event is pay-per-view quality. It's maybe some people would consider Max Holloway the people's champ. It's really the people's champ Max Holloway defending his number 1 contender spot against Yair Rodriguez. It's a 5-round fight. I cannot wait for it. Guys, smash the hell out of that like button. If you're new, subscribe, turn those post notifications on. We need at least 200 likes. I'd like to blow past that. Much love to the continued supporters, everybody that tunes in. I really appreciate each and every one of you. We got a really fun UFC Vegas 42 card coming up, which I can't wait to see. Lots of content coming out this week. We got Bellator predictions. We got this week's best MMA bets. We got weigh-in recap shows for Bellator and UFC. Post-fight coverage coming out as well. So lots of coverage. Keep it locked in. Make sure to subscribe and turn those post notifications on. You do not want to miss a video. Much love to everybody tuning in. Thank you all so much. And I will see you all in the next video. Peace, guys.